Hello and welcome to the Edupedia world. In this tutorial, we are going to cover Big O notation. So let's begin. The agenda for this tutorial is to cover Big O notation, finding Big O notation complexity and doing some examples. Now let's begin with it. Now, Big O notation. Big O, commonly written as O, is a asymptotic notation for worst case or ceiling of growth for a given function. It provides us with the asymptotic upper bound for the growth rate of the runtime of an algorithm. Say Fn is your algorithm runtime and Gn is an arbitrary time complexity you are trying to relate to your algorithm. Fn is OGn, that means for this function Fn, your complexity would be Gn and it will be represented as OGn. For some real constant c greater than 0. So c could be any constant depending upon your problem statement. Now if Fn is less than equals to Cgn for every input size n, where n is greater than 0. Okay, so this is how we define the Big O complexity. So you see, Big O is a notation which is used to give a complexity, which is the upper bound or the worst case complexity, and it is denoted by a real constant c, which can also be written as Fn is less than equals to Cgn. So this is a more of a mathematical notation for Big O notation. The function Big O notation is determined by how it responds to different inputs. How much slower is it if we give a list of 1,000 things to work instead of list of one thing? So let's say if we want to sort an array and my array is having 5 elements, okay? And then I have to sort again one more array which is having 1,000 elements with the same logic using which I sorted 5 elements. So how much slower will our algo becomes if we try to do the same functioning for 1,000 elements? So that is denoted by Big O notation. Now this is you can say a simplified explanation of Big O notation. So let's go through this and see what it says. So there's a sample code written where this is not particular to Java language or any other language. So just consider it as a pseudocode. Pseudocode means not a real code but code that can be able to explain its own logic. So now see, there is like def item in list. So just consider it as a method for now, and it is taking two parameters. One is to check and other is the list. Okay. Then inside this method, you can see we are having for loop. So the for loop says for item in the list. So it's actually traversing all the item in the list, which is the parameter. So it's checking for all the items in the list, and if toCheck equals to item. So you can see that toCheck is one of item and it's actually checking the list all the elements to match if it were to toCheck. So if the element is found, then it returns true, otherwise it returns false. So it's a simple logic, you can say a simple pseudocode of finding one particular element in a list. Now this list can be an array or an array list or anything else. Okay. So if we call this function like item in list by passing 2 and an array which is having 1, 2, 3, it should be pretty quick. We loop over each thing in the list and we find out that first argument to our function returns true. Fine. Now, if we get the end and we didn't find it, it will give us false. So the complexity of this function is on. Why on? Because it has to traverse all the elements to simply check if this is the element that we want to achieve or not. Okay. Now, on is read as order of n. So on does means order of n because O function is also known as order function. On, this says that if we were to graph the time it takes to run this function with different sized inputs, example an array of 1 item, 2 item, 3 items, etc., we'd see that the approximately corresponding to number of items in the array. So that means as the items in the number of array increases, our complexity increases. Okay, this is called a linear graph. This means that the line is basically straight if you were to graph it. So this is a representation of ON complexity. So big ON notation can be represented by this. You can see this is a straight line. So as soon as the number of values in an array increases, the complexity increases. So it's actually equivalent to the number of elements. Now let's see one more example. Just consider this pseudocode. In this pseudocode, we are having def is none item. So is none is a method and we are passing item to it. Okay. And what it does, it simply says return item is none. So it will return item equals to none. Okay, so what this method is doing, there is no if logic, there is no for logic, it's just returning item is none. Okay, it's making item to none, null, and returning that. Now this function is called O1, which is constant time. Why so? Because no matter what is the value of item, let it be array of 1000 element or let it be array of 1 element. What this method is doing, it's simply making it null and returning it. So you can say the time complexity is not at all dependent upon the size over here. It is constant, which is 1. That's why the function is called O1. What this means is no matter how big our input is, it will always take the same amount of time to compute the things. Okay. So this is a graphical representation. You see it's a absolutely straight line, a absolutely horizontal line. So it's having no impact. Even if we are increasing the number of element, it will still remain same. Okay. Now let's go to this example. In this example, you see we are having a method all combination. So it's def all combination. And in the parameter, we are passing the list. Okay. Then we are having results equal to a plain, you can say array is taken. Then for item in the list. So we are traversing all the item in the list. So the list is our parameter to all combinations method. Okay guys, so there's a for loop which is navigating to all the item in the list, and then again we have a for loop which is navigating to the inner item in again the list. So see, we are actually navigating the item and the inner item. So we are actually having two loops in this list. And then we are actually appending item with the inner item and we are returning the result. So we are actually making sure that how many combinations of elements can be formed with this array. So see, this matches every item in the list with the other item in the list. So if we give array 1, 2, 3, we'd get back 1 with 1, then 1 with 2, 1 with 3, then 2 with 1, 2 with 2, 2 with 3, 3 with 1, 3 with 2, 3 with 3. Okay. So you see over here, if we see it as a set, then 1 with 3 or 3 is 1 with same. But since we are not, making it a set, we are just taking out all the pairs that can be formed. So these are the pairs. If you want to eliminate the pairs that are duplicate, then we can do that by changing or modifying the logic a little bit. So maybe we will do that example later on. Okay. Now this function is considered to be O(n) square. This is because for every item in the list and for the input size, we have to do n more operations. So that means we are using two loops. So for one loop is going through all the n list of items. Again, there's one more loop that is again going through the all list of items. So we are going through the list of item twice. So therefore it's O(n) square. So in a way, it's not twice, but it's O(n) squared. So it's not 2n, it's O(n) square. Why? Because for each and every item in the list, we are again going through the complete list. Like for the item 1, we have gone through the list once. So we have gone through 1, 2, 3. Then when we reach on item 2, then we again go through the entire list. That is 1, 2, and 3. Same with the 3. Therefore, it is O(n) square. Now this is a graph. You can see this graph shows you the comparison between O(n) square versus O(n) and O1. So O1 is this blue line, okay, which is a straight line. Then O(n) is a line which grows as we grow the data. And O(n) square grows, you can see in a very sharp way because it grows raised to the power 2 with the rise of the data. Okay, the rise of the input. So this is how you can see all the three graphs over here. Okay guys, so this was about O(n) and big O complexity. Although we haven't touched much of examples over here, so we'll be doing some good examples in our next tutorial for finding out the complexities. Thank you.